4, 3, 2, 1. 1라운드. 거점을 점령하십시오.
All right. Well, let's see the speed boost here coming out on Lighthouse. We'll see the Mercy swaps coming through. Tuba, as expected, will be starting the Pharah. Remember, Edison was able to pop off on more so well than this particular map of Lighthouse. Devo's actually losing this tank war badly. He's going to have to step off. Really good control here so far for GC Busan Wave. They get the DMAC, and now God Sejong has total control.
Oh boy, Edison, here we go. Knocks free out of the mech, takes down Tuba already. Gonna be an initial cap coming through for GC Busan Wave. A really good way to start things off.
They won the tank war super hard. Just an overextension of Evo there. He ends up bleeding out. He survives, but Free's the one who ends up taking the shots. He's actually still DMAC'd.
Yeah, he didn't jump off the side.
He does now.
You thought
go into the spawn room.
Yeah, you would think that maybe he would have just tried to jump off the side of the map, but instead opted to try to spam his way back into the mech. Now swap, so what little percent he did have towards that self-destruct is gone.
Yeah, he probably was sitting at around 12 or so, but...
And it begins.
It begins indeed. The matchup here, not just won because of mechanical skill, but again because of the tanks giving him space in order to work with. He does not have his Impresight yet, so he is operating blind right now. Predicts the jump up.
Still gets the tag there, but low energy on the shot, so not going to be able to get kill on the Bazzi. Bazzi will be staying alive, some rockets coming through, but Edison can just go ahead and kite back towards that Mega Pack to get himself healed up. God Sejong going to go down. Bazzi does manage to find one kill, and Evo going forward tries to get rid of Fielder. Taking a lot of damage, so another shot comes through, and Edison getting rid of the enemy Winston free very far forward, but he's all on his lonesome. He's going to have to try to get out of there, but it doesn't look like he's going to be able to do so. Dangerously low. Still alive for the moment, so surviving, but in onto the point 7, trying to get the flip, but Edison takes down Bazzi. Now he's looking for more. Primal Rage used by Ion, just looking for the smack-offs, finds one there onto Revenge. He'll die with that Transcendence, ready to go. God Sejong traded out by Free, but he's got that Discord Orb in. He's getting zapped at the Ion. Looking for an avenue of escape, but not just wants to go back on the offensive, forces out that self-destruct, and this still might be costly here for 7. They managed to get the flip, but now with that self-destruct killing Fielder, Evo following up on the Daydream, GC Busan Wave will go ahead and reset. They got 62% on that initial cap. Now they have to come back in with limited ultimates.
They certainly do. It's a little bit frustrating, it feels sometimes, when you commit to Primal Rage like that. You felt like you could buy enough time. Fielder just could not get away. He was caught between the self-destruct and Tuba's rockets, so a little bit unfortunate there. Tuba just trying to gatekeep here with this Pharah, and Edison's going straight through the center. He is found by the tank line. Evo is jumping on him right now, so it's not looking good initially here for GC Busan Wave. He is killed by Bazzi in the end, and it looks like Tuba is going to win this trade against Sejong as well.
Yeah, takes down Ritz. He's still looking for more. They'll go ahead and corner him. Tuba will be able to scoop up the kills. Effectively 3 going his way as they hold off GC Busan Wave, and 7 looks to exceed the percentage gained.
Edison tried to take a tricky approach through the center there rather than trying to flank, because he knew that he'd be caught by Tuba if he flanked, but he basically exposed himself so hard. He was super predictable about how he was going about things. He wasn't sneaky in any way, and they found him, they killed him. Bazzi's got control on this high ground here of that same area where Edison tried to sneak out. And God Sejong can't even get into the sky. Yeah, no, he's just getting ripped to bits here. Tuba comes up with another kill. Very far forward, will get zapped to death, not able to use that barrage. We'll see if a res can come through from Mika perhaps. That's Bazzi now. He's in control over the lighthouse, and yes, the res is there. So Tuba back into the fight. 3, nearly 4 ultimates ready to go here from 7, including that self-destruct, which will zone everybody off of the point. As they go past 90% now, GC Busan Wave is going to have to do something very shortly. They're going to have to make something work with this Impresight. That's their best opportunity. Tuba throwing down that barrage, looking for the pickoff here on the Daydream. Doesn't find it. He'll get top back up. Barely survives, now dropping in on top of Edison. Grapples over to the side and trying to stay himself alive. Fielder, is going to fall. Barrage coming out for God Sejong, but now he's got himself stuck right in the middle of that self-destruct. He's not going to make it out. 3 finds the pick, and 7 look to take Lighthouse here. Red's coming back through onto the Pharah, but not sure how long he's going to be able to survive. He's basically in here by himself. The Mercy had to escape. He's going to go down. Huge concussive. Looking to rejoin. Concussive does knock off Ritz. Daydream goes down. It's all on Fielder, but he just can't get there. The tanks were dead, and a great start for GC Busan Wave, but 7 turn it on its head. Yeah, it was the tank battle that they lost that gave Edison control, but without control, Edison couldn't accomplish anything. They're playing so well around him and his flanks, and Bazzi controlled he controlled the center and the left side by standing on the right side of the lighthouse. Of course, if you're facing it on from his perspective, left side. So he couldn't be hit by Pharah rockets unless he was exposing himself, in which case he was usually firing on God Sejong, who just could not get back into position. one thing I noticed, the big picture was that Tuba just was always able to find ways to do damage outside of Edison's line of sight, so they really couldn't deal with it. And at the same time, the one thing I'm worried about for 7 is their control of the tanks was a little bit lacking in the neutral game. You know, as you call it, if you put it in like fighting game terms where they were both approaching each other, this is what the neutral game is, right? When you start in the point, this is the neutral game. In that part, they really struggle to use their tanks efficiently. You'll see if they can change it up this time. We'll see Reinhardt versus Winston to start, with GC Busan using Ion on the Rhine.
Yeah, going to be a bit of a different comp coming through. Edison already, though, jumped on Revenge, comes in from behind, takes him down. This is going to be the solo healer comp coming through for 7, all on Mika. They're trying to keep everybody topped up, and so far, so good. You don't need healing if you just kill everybody first. Charge comes in, Free will run Ion down. And GC Busan Wave, we'll see if they're going to swap up immediately.
This is not unlike what we saw from Runaway yesterday on Control. This is becoming a lot more popular recently, and it can work, especially in the neutral game where you can burst everybody down. Like you said, if you kill everyone before the healing is even possible, especially if the healer's the first to die, you end up with a massive advantage. Revenge holds this pulse, so just waiting. Here's the footsteps. Wants to grab the Mercy, sees her, but
now he's hunting. I think he wants
the Zen.
Maybe the Zen, yeah, Fielder.
Oh, look at this.
Oh, gonna be spotted now. Might not even need that pulse bomb. Doesn't get that one clip going through, but now comes into the back, sticks on the bubble. However, and will not be able to take down Daydream. In the meantime, Edison finds a kill in onto Evo. Rez will come back out, and now he gets Mika punishing him for that Rez, but Tuba follows up. Fielder goes down, as does God Sejong. GC Busan Wave still losing out on members. The barrage from Tuba off screen, taking risks out of the mech. Edison, point blank range, but he is surrounded, will get taken down, and Tuba is just cleaning up house right now with this Pharah. We've been focusing so much on the Widowmakers.
Yeah.
That we don't even really see all of the kills coming through, but if you follow that kill feed, you see it's just time and time again.
Oh, yeah.
Whether it's a mech getting popped or somebody going down, Tuba is just sweeping them under the rug.
He is absolutely phenomenal on this Pharah, you know, and I think it was even a mistake not to start him in their match last week, but let's see how this continues. Obviously, the lack of support can be a problem in the tank war, but they're just doing so well with their DPS, it just doesn't necessarily even matter. Ritz here, look at the abuse he's taking right now. Despite having the supports, they're just building more of this barrage.
Tuba goes low, but he's got the pharmacy pocket here. Ritz taking down Free, alleviates a lot of pressure here from the side of GC Busan Wave. If they could get Epo, that would be great, but he pops the Primal Rage just in time to stay alive. Tuba still getting jumped on, but will not go down. Revenge. The Pulse gets rid of the Baby Diva. Fielder falls to the Primal Rage, and now God Sejong dead as Tuba comes up with another one. Looking for Edison, takes him out. And now we're into overtime, 99 to 0%. GC Busan Wave just not showing up at the start of Achilios so far. Ion pops his own Primal. For how long he can stay alive, I don't know. You can see he's already trying to exit, trying to get back here. But the barrage comes in, Ritz is out of the mech. No defense matrix gonna be there to deny that damage coming in. Revenge just cleans up the kill. Overtime gonna start ticking away, and GC Busan can really do nothing else other than stream in one at a time. But the chance of survival is so very slim. It seems like 7 should be able to win this one 100 to 0.
Yep, looks that way. There's the overtime ticking down.
2 more kills ready to go. Tuba cleaning both of them up. Puts the team on his back. Helps shut down Edison throughout, and that's already Achilios done.
Before everyone screams Fleta Syndrome, we have to remember that when we saw Edison pop off on this map against MVP Space, it was when his team was winning. Everyone was spawn camped. They could barely leave the spawn. Their attempts to avoid his line of sight and to dash out were shut down repeatedly. And we already know we've given the eye test to Edison. We know what he is capable of given opportunities, but when there are no opportunities, there seems to be a lack of flexibility on the side of GC Busan Wave when compared to 7, because 7 is running now a different composition. They have an extra tracer. They still have a strong tank line. But when you're running the Widow, the supports don't matter as much if the Widow can't get line of sight. What are you healing? Anyways, you're not healing much. You're really only worrying about the enemy Pharah. They later switched to Genji, and he was so low impact that we barely even got any shots of the Genji at all. So GC Busan Wave sticking with what worked with them last time in their match against MVP Space on Tiebreaker, but against a tougher team here in 7, and Tuba's honestly phenomenal Pharah that we're seeing. It just didn't work out the same way, and doesn't mean that Edison was actually a fraud, that he was never that good to begin with. No, but you know, he doesn't. Widowmakers operate around line of sight. They operate around what their team provides them. Yeah. And in this case, they just didn't have that same level of tank dominance, especially there on Well.
Well, now we have to ask the question, GC Busan Wave, are they going to be swapping things out a little bit here? Last time we saw MVP able to take the win on control, and God Sejong was subbed out. We saw Alpha Yi come in over top of him, and he remained for the duration of the rest of that series. Do we expect to see that swap yet again as we get ready to move forward into hybrid?
It just depends on where they want to take us, because I think both
Last
Alpha
time it was
Yi,
Blizzard World.
Yeah, but both Alpha Yi and God Sejong are decent Genji players, obviously. Alpha Yi is the Brigitte flex most of the time. Like, if we see Tuba staying in, that does indicate we're going to one of the hybrid maps that is more Genji relatable, which is pretty much all of them except King's Row. That's the one where you don't see a lot of Genji, but all the rest of them are still highly viable. So I guess we have a lot more questions and answers about that right now, but it would continue the same pattern if they did put Alpha Yi in here going into hybrid. Blizzard World's a map where Edison could do well on the Widow, but, it's the first time we saw Edison. I think there's a lot of, the hype level for Edison's like way up here. I think it should be like a little bit down here right now. So, I mean, Bazzi's a fantastic Widow. He's been a Widow who's been around longer. He's had better results for longer. So before we jump to the conclusions, like, we got to go to Blizzard World, it's the Widow map, I think everyone's got to slow down. I think we'll learn a lot about GC Busan Wave, where they're at, where their head's at right now, because if they go back to Blizzard World, I think that means they're sticking with what they think they're good at, but it means they're not really being flexible. If they take us somewhere else, it means they prepared really hard for a different strategy.
Not showing us that much diversity, but see some GC Busan fans here in the audience with quite a nice Mercy poster.
Yeah.
Like the colors. It's a good little blend you got going on there. She's
says,
like
it says
golden and like kind of on fire at the same time. So she's kind of like Phoenix Mercy.
She said she's not from Busan, but she basically, because she watches these games, like she feels like she's a resident of Busan in her mind as she watches them. And we got the conch shell. Conch shell says 4-0. 7 fan here.
Well, we'll see. They got the first win in pretty convincing fashion. The 100-0, especially on well, does support the 4-0 possibility a bit. Oh man, we got a Surfing Diva and Hammond coming through.
And Genji.
And Genji's in the back.
In the background.
He is in the back.
He's got a knife. I don't know if he's up to, he's probably up to no good, man.
He's pulling the Dragon Blade. You can see the dragons coming out with him.
That's right. He's up to no good. He's doing that same Genji pose that I still don't know what it means.
They should have made the wave be like the Dragon Strike, and they're surfing a Dragon Strike.
That would be cool.
That would be pretty neat.
Maybe that's what is happening. You just don't know. It's Edison down underneath the water, shooting it out. Oh, what? Okay.
Oh, man. Yo, this was a homework project. They didn't make this when they showed up at the studio.
You had to ask about how circuits work and stuff to make this work. That's fancy, man.
Had to weave an LED strip into the sign.
Well,
man.
They call him Goddison instead of Edison. That's his nickname.
I used to believe in Godspeed, but now I believe in Goddison, I guess.
Yeah.
We'll see. Some more proving to be done. Drinking some questionable drink there. 7 fan dressed up as Diva.
Yeah, I'm not going to get into this sign. But 3 fan, obviously, she's a little bit shy about it.
I don't know what that would be, but what is happening here? They're like being force-fed GC Busan's logo?
It says, even if I die, I'll never forget GC Busan. It says like, oh, it tastes so good. That's what it says. I just be missing the meme, but looks like we are gonna have the sub of Alpha Yi.
Okay, will be happening. I don't know what was going on with that last one.
So that's how you handle a substitution. You know, you buy the time, you get the fancy fan sign.
It would have made more sense if it was a 7 fan with that sign because of the movie 7 with Morgan Freeman and Brad Pitt, because there was that guy who was force fed.
Could be.
It was gluttony, one of the 7 deadly sins. But, all right, so yeah, Alpha Yi going to be coming back in. This is pretty anticipated. We just have to see what the map selection is going to be. Do we see Blizzard World yet again and see a lack of diversity from GC Busan Wave, or do they try to change things up, go for maybe another map where Edison can excel on the Widowmaker, such as Hollywood, or do we go for something maybe a bit more standard?
I'd love to see Nimbani personally. We are going to see King's
Row.
So both King's Row and Nimbani can operate around the Hanzo very well, but this is more so probably going to be the Zarya composition with the Widow. But King's Row here, you come in with it. We do know that it's it's not just the Widow, it's also a lot of Hanzo we've seen from Edison. He was able to completely shut down Yaki's Pharah, in fact, on Oasis with Hanzo alone without the Widowmaker. And that could be how you win the tank wars, which obviously we've been seeing Seven struggle with a little bit with Evo. Definitely not as dominant of a Winston as he was last season. So not a bad map choice here. Let's see how they utilize it.
All right, well, map number 2, Seven leading the charge with a 1-0. Uh-oh. No fan cheer.
That's a rare one. So let's take a look at these compositions. Obviously, defense for Seven looks pretty standard on the attack. I do not think this is exactly what we're going to see, but, you know, if they really want Ritz to play the Hanzo, that's viable. Now, let's see if they do the Gladiators fake. We could see something like that. It seems unlikely given the composition and how it's set up right now, but we saw Surefour after fake the Brigida switch to the Widowmaker and then pop off. Edison is showing the Brigida now. This was played just a few hours ago in Overwatch League.
Well, that's a bad way to start things off. It's going to be Fielder getting popped right off the bat. Tuba had the charge ready to go.
Let's see where Edison stands, because that's going to give us a little bit more information about how this is going to be run. If he's going to hang back, then that's going to teach us a lot. We actually need to see his view in order to know. Okay, he's doing the fake. So watch this. So watch how Seven operates. They're going to collapse onto DC Busan. He's going to make the switch to Widowmaker. They assume that the Brigida is being run. He's going to switch to Widow, and then while they're out of position trying to tackle the tank composition, he switches and gets the headshots from behind. This is a really complicated strategy that Gladiators popularized today. Bazzi's predicting this, though.
He is ready to go. This could just shut it down. Bazzi spots it. They know exactly what's going on.
They call the bluff easily.
Turns out Seven watched the Overwatch League as well, guys.
Yeah, it was a really cool strategy, but, you know, I feel like you can't really just copy it in one day and make it happen.
I mean, it's like, how many people are going to fall for the Trojan horse these days? Everyone knows about it, Wolf.
Yeah, this was not...
Oh, Tuba. Oh, but
I mean, it's time to switch the comp, probably. Alpha E does have 60% of a grab, but I think if you want to run this comp, it's probably not going to be with the Tracer. Fielder's already switched to the Zen. So, just again to explain the strategy, what the idea is, everyone focuses on the tanks. The Junkrat gets in there, and you're in a choke point. You feel like you have the advantage. Then the Widow comes in, flanks you from behind, and kills everyone. That's what Surefour did. But this is already predicted by Seven. Yep,
Riptire now rolling through, looking for the Lucio. Manages to take him down. Not going to find the pop onto Ion, but get rid of one of the healers. That's going to be a pretty nice prize. GC Busan Wave still going to be held at bay. Nearly got that first tick, but not going to find it yet. Red's still taking a couple tags, but it seems like he will be able to make it out safely. Gets topped up. And ultimates are starting to roll through here for the members of Seven, whereas GC Busan Wave very far away. They have a pulse bomb that can help open up this point a bit, but Alpha Yi with the Genji swap still going to be about 80% away.
Yeah, you know, and all that grab charge build was wasted. This is a really bad situation for GC Busan.
Staying alive, the pulse bomb not going to find anything, and Daydream just going to be taken down here by Evo. Free, taking Ritz out of the mech, and Edison going to be dead yet again. They managed to find Tuba, but Nika should be able to just push over and res him back into the fight. We'll see it going off right now. He'll be fine. Actually, burns that right as Revenge dies, so not the best timing here for Seven, but they're not suffering yet. Ritz is still out of the mech. Could pistol his way back through. Seems like that's going to be the plan here instead of trying to reset.
Oh man, this is looking really bad though. He almost has that self-destruct, and they almost have the support ultimates for the Blade, but it has to be now or never. Like, this is their last real shot at a push here.
They have to pull this off. Ritz, self-destruct ready to go, can buy some space here onto the point. Evo gonna die without using the supercharger. Now Mika under fire, self-destruct in from Free, not gonna find anything, and Ritz puts his down onto the high ground.
Could be a Blade.
They'll knock Free right back out. Alpha Yi trying to hold it for now. Trying to save this one for the street space, and seems like he might just be able to do that. First hit coming through, second one getting to roll in. Primal Rage going to be popped here by Ion. Riptire comes through, takes down Daydream, but I don't know if this is going to be enough for them to hold them off. And Sentence being used by Revenge.
Here's the Blade.
He's going to die. That's going to be the Blade coming in for Alpha E. Cuts down two, Bazzi and Mika, but falling, finds Evo for a third and final tag. And that will be GC Busan Wave getting the cap here onto point A. But with only 30 seconds remaining, put a lot of faith into basically hoping that Seven had not watched Overwatch League today.
I mean, pretty much, yeah.
They're like, you know, it's pretty early. Like, gamers like to sleep in. Maybe they didn't see it. Maybe they didn't watch the highlights.
I mean, I didn't see it live, but it was the first Overwatch League we've seen on this patch, so I was very curious to see what the teams were running. So I was able to catch it this morning when I woke up and was able to get that VOD. So pretty fortunate I did. But yeah, GC Busan Wave gonna push forward with Edison on the Doomfist now to counter the tank comp. Gets Evo, and he's on top now with the Hanzo.
Yeah, he's just diving in pretty deep here. In the meantime, Fielder's gonna be the one scooping up the kills with the Brigade to swap. Already gonna be at 63% for this rally, which will give GC Busan Wave a really fast push on the street space. It's exactly what they need to make up for all that lost time on A. Already about halfway there. Rolling in quite nicely. We'll see what Seven's going to do to try to shut this one down.
I think the idea is just to make sure that you manage your cooldowns against the Doomfist well. You stay far back, so when he dives in, you have the ability to collapse back onto him, make sure he doesn't get a lot of shields from his attack. He gets in here, but again, no shields this time. See how long he lasts.
Here by Fielder as they start charging forward. Armor going to be stacking up on all the members nearby.
That's almost that meteor. He's got a meteor now.
Is ready to go, as is the Dragon Strike. Graviton Surge going to be coming down here. 3 tosses it through. The Dragon Strike now available, but they can just hold it. They don't even need it. They are just going to wipe GC Busan Wave completely with that grab alone.
That was Evo's Fire Strike doing so much damage, hitting everybody there. Got a double kill on the Fire Strike there alone. GC Busan Wave has a lot of tools now, but they lost the rally armor onto Doomfist and onto Genji. Those are the most important ones they would have liked to have it on. Daydream so far away from a sound barrier. They still have a minute of time, but as you mentioned, the Dragon Strike completely unnecessary. Yep. The Shatter's still available here. So I think it's going to have to be a Meteor Strike to open this up. Here's a self-destruct.
Yeah, they'll toss that one in, but I have to agree with you. I think Meteor Strike in, try to kill Bazzi, and then follow up with the Dragon Blade. Tuba throws out the Dragon Strike, manages to find the pick off there on the Daydream as Edison takes down Evo.
I don't know where the Meteor Strike was, but it didn't kill anybody. It didn't give them a positional advantage, and it ends up being an empty here. It comes up with nothing, does not quite hit the mark. As Bazzi makes the switch over, obviously, to the Brigida, it's working out very well against this comp. And now the Dragon Blade, let's see what it can get.
Draws this one out, Bubbles coming through, Transcendence in as well. Revenge just trying to mitigate this. Also has the armor still sitting on both healers. So even then, the Dragon Blade might not have been that effective in general. Another Graviton Surge going to be coming down. Shots coming through. Alpha E getting the deflection off the Hanzo back in to kill Bazzi. Evo follows up with one. Here on to Ion, but it's still going to be GC Busan Wave looking to come out on top. Tuba shutting down that Doomfist. Dragon Strike rolling through. Not going to be killing anybody. They roll into the station. They get the cap on the B, but it's a minute and a half remaining here for GC Busan Wave to try to get all the way to the finish.
They were so close to stopping it, too. GC Busan Wave could be very happy with how that went. Evo got another massive Fire Strike after the grab. It's almost to another Shatter now. But, yeah, it was not the Dragon Blade that won them the fight. It was just the longer sustained healing they have coming out from the Lucio. Very close to another Shadow, as mentioned. Here comes the dive.
Yeah, dive into the back. Ion goes in by himself. There's no protection whatsoever, and he just gets chewed apart. Instant shield bash. Follow up there from Evo. They take him down. There's no res available. Obviously, no mercy. Going to be played here from the side of GC Busan Wave. So just buying time, getting these kills coming through.
They've got another Dragon Blade. Alpha E is building these incredibly fast, but against Bazzi's Brigida here, it's going to be tough to crack the armor. Shatter.
Oh, nice bubble. Beautifully placed coming through, just shutting that one down. But Alpha E with the Dragon Blade drawn out will get stunned up, and Tuba is able to get the execution. Meteor Strike coming through from Edison. He's going to be looking for the pick off here on a Revenge. Still has a lot of that armor. Still is going to be surviving. Does not fall. Manages to stay alive, but Edison follows up the kill here onto Evo. Taking him down. Now they get Bazzi. 2 of the tanks gone. It's just going to be on Free, who has the Graviton Surge ready to roll.
Talk about saving the day, man. Here's the grab, though.
Tosses it in straight onto the cart. The follow-up's not going to be there. Tuba gets taken out. No Dragon Strike to follow in. And now GC Busan Wave open up this point. They open up this push. No one can get there in time. They will finish. But it was looking pretty dangerous for them for the longest time.
It certainly was. That was Ion making the huge save with the bubble. Without that, everyone shattered, and so are the dreams of finishing C. As you pointed out, that was what saved them against Evo's attempted Shatter.
Yeah, the Shatter, and then he kills Tuba before the Dragon Strike can come through.
That's right. So makes 2 major plays, then ends up winning out against Evo. Obviously chases him down onto the Reinhardt. He is the more mobile hero, and obviously they're outnumbered. But Seven showed us that they do know how to replicate a strategy that's either running around in scrims right now, or they were able to at least emulate a strategy from watching Overwatch League, watching Surefour and the Gladiators run this strategy today against London Spitfire. But either way, I think the big takeaway here is that they are running insanely heavy dive. The Doomfist plus the Genji against the tanks feels almost counterintuitive in some ways, but the execution is so good with the Lucio and with the support Brigitte that they make it work. They make the Doomfist look viable. They make it look like it's super easy to get that shielding, plus the armor that comes through from Brigitte. It's the ranged burst armor that Brigitte gives you when you run her as a support, in this case, is how she was being played. So yeah, when you're diving super deep, Brigitte just presses E, and either you're fully healed or you then have armor as kind of a squishy dive hero. So you get the armor from that, then you get the shielding from Doomfist. It can work out quite well.
I mean, a decent turnaround here for the side of GC Busan Wave, able to get the completion, albeit in overtime. But given that they were almost full held on point A, I think you got to be pretty happy with the result if you're GC Busan.
Oh yeah.
To have a really crushing defense coming through. See if they can pull it off. It's going to be the Junkrat with the Hanzo from Edison. So
yeah,
not going to be seeing the Widow on defense.
This is kind of what I was talking about. As you're dueling Bazzi on attack on King's Row, go for the tank win. Use the Hanzo here to make Evo's life miserable as they try to come through. That's the idea. Tuba's actually going to match him on the Hanzo, so it's double sniper versus the Junkrat. Junkrat might be switched if Alpha E ends up getting taken out. It's not as useful against this sort of double sniper composition, obviously because of lack of range.
Jumping to the side, looking to get some arrows through the barrier. Just going to be refreshed. Finds that little headshot there onto Ritz, who is getting knocked out of that mech pretty rapidly. Manages to stay alive for the moment, but the first hit already picked up by 7. GC Busan Wave going to have to drop down and try to contest this point. Ritz yet again dangerously low. Now Ion getting jumped on, trying to mitigate the damage, throws out a barrier to block. Evo will fall, so alleviating some pressure here as 7 gets very close to finishing off the second tick. Will be able to do so because Tuba comes up with 1 kill on the field, or another one on the Ion. The rest can be forced out from Daydream. Second tick nearly there. Edison cornered in the Alderworth, will get taken down, and the rest is there on the revenge. 7 back in onto the point. They get the second tick now rolling through up into the air. Goes Alpha E, but back down he comes, and he's going to be dead this time. A very fast take onto point A for 7. Ultimate's ready to roll. They have this Dragon Strike to just shove GC Busan Wave off the streets and gain some free distance because they got 5 minutes, 12 seconds.
Alpha E switches to Genji, but he ended that defense with 55%. 55 of a Riptire. It almost never happens. It's a compositional problem, right?
Very, very poor.
Against double sniper, it's so difficult to build Riptire. If you're up against a dive comp, you do more consistent damage. If you're up against quad tank, triple tank, it's very easy to build a Riptire. It's not that he was misplaying, it's just that they did not expect the double sniper comp. They got punished. Edison punished Bazzi here, again winning out with the Hanzo in the duel. But yeah, the Alpha E Junkrat there didn't work out.
This is a very sneaky monkey. Evo going to come around from behind.
He's going to find the supports here is the idea. Wants to make sure he hits him with the stomp. Very risky stuff though. If he gets turned on, he will not last long. So they don't see him.
He's going to drop down. Jumps in, putting the bubble through. He's going to be getting some free charge up towards that primal range. He only has it available now, but not going to be finding any kills.
It was still pretty solid. It drew a lot of the aggro away, allowed them to push around this corner.
Pulls it back, and now Tuba goes forward, finds a kill there onto Ion. Daydream going to get cut down by Bazzi. Self-destruct in from 3, not going to find any picks, but he makes it back into the mech safely. And now Alpha E pretty isolated into the back, as is Ritz. He'll get taken down and taken out. Tuba following up with a shot.
Very well played there by Evo, actually. It was the execution that really shone through. Like, he went up onto the high ground there, hid, jumped down, forced all the aggro onto him. Bubbled well, was immediately pocketed by Mika, who made sure he was stayed up in the high health. Then he was actually damage boosted by Mika, and he just did a bunch of AoE in that choke point, helped them get around the corner. And obviously the superior trades there go to his Winston, so they end up pushing this through, and they're almost to point B now with a great time bank. Very well-executed strategy here by Team 7.
Yeah, Dragon Strike run out there by Edison, but not going to be finding much. Ritz gets jumped on immediately, and Revenge takes him down, but the self-destruct still manages to find a kill in on Tuba. Now Alpha E just back in, finds Bazzi with a slash, but Dragon Blade's going to expire, so just finds the 1 kill, and Tuba res back in. 65 at the moment. GC Busan Wave looking to shut down this push. Dragon Strike comes through from Tuba. Shoves them away from the cart for the moment, and Alpha E actually just jumps right back into the tail end of it and gets taken down. Now with Ion falling, Edison comes forward, realizes he needs to try to open up this cart here for his squad to gain control. Throws out another Dragon Strike. Looking for some kills, but not going to find it as 7 just kites back around the corner. They still have 2 minutes 40 on the clock. And they're just shy of point B.
Yeah, it's very much just a kind of time-buying ultimate here on the side of Edison. Doesn't get the kills, but does regain control of this zone. Bazzi going to flank here, finds the Diva. Even draws out the rockets there. They're actually going to take this opportunity to collapse in, it looks like. And very risky positioning for Alpha. He does get out of there, but now Ion's cut off.
He just dies in midair, left, right, in. Immediately, everyone focuses down the Winston. He gets taken out, self-destruct into the air. They'll kite back, but finds the pop there on the free, and Evo gets taken down as well. Tuba able to answer one as the Hanzo falls, but DC Busan Wave buying some critical time here off the clock. Pop onto the Bazzi, taking down Ritz. And now 7 yet again, going to be looking to push forward, trying to get this completion. Ion is rejoined back on the front line. They pop 3 out of his. See if they can get the kill onto him. Dragon Strike rolls through. Alpha E playing forward with another Dragon Blade ready to go, but doesn't want to chase too deep. Just lets Revenge go.
7 doesn't have any real good way to initiate, and I think they're almost overly relying on GC Busan making a mistake to engage in and grab this final completion, which happened a few times. They don't have a situation where they can use Evo as the playmaker. I like this. At least they can bring in the counter to the Genji now with Bazzi switching over to the Brigida, but it feels so late. He's trying to shield bash his way faster back to the point. They've only got a minute 20. This is the most dire straight 7's been in since this series started, to be honest, and they're up against a Dragon Blade now.
And now Evans dead. Dive into the back immediately coming through. That's going to be Bazzi falling off the bat. Revenge going low. Wants to stay alive. Doesn't want to have to use that Transcendence. Still under fire, and Alpha E from the side just cuts him down with a melee swing, and now they're getting the stagger kills in onto Mika, looking for Tuba.
This composition just doesn't really have a theme.
Yeah.
Like, the Winston doesn't work well with the Hanzo in order to set up initiation. They have no way to really open up a fight. Dragon Strike is just going to be ignored. GC Busan Wave has a good defensive comp, and they have initiation with the Dragon Blade, as Alpha E has still been able to hold on to it because Evo has just died every time. They're not really overly dive, they're not really overly poke, and the comp doesn't have a lot of synergy. Here's the Dragon Strike coming out first for Edison, traded back now.
Answered, but everyone can just go ahead and peel back. Ion taking a little bit of damage as his Ritz, but gonna be fine. It looks like Ion likely gonna have enough time to build up for that Primal Rage. Has it ready to go now. Self-destruct thrown down. Straight into the front here by Free, but he's not gonna find a pick. Everyone able to successfully kite back behind the corner. And GC Busan Wave are looking to shut them down. It's 13 seconds left. Somebody's gotta tag the cart, but so far, no one's really making it that far.
Blade.
Dragon Blade coming through. That's gonna be Alpha E, dashes in, takes down Bazzi just with the dash flip. Will kite his way back, keeps himself safe. And yeah, that's gonna be overtime. Starting to tick down. Somebody managing to get that tag. It's gonna be Evo with that Primal Rage, but now he's dead. Resin on the fielder. Mika falls. And 7 might just be held off here. They get that massive cap, the massive time bank off of point A, over 5 minutes in the clock, but they can't even roll it into B. GC Busan Wave looking to go ahead and shut them down with this magnificent defense here on King's Row. Ion zapping away, another Primal Rage nearly ready to go. Dragon Strike thrown in by Edison, but not going to be finding any picks. 7 trying to stay in the fight, but they're getting taken down one after the other. Free, Bazzi, and Revenge all going down. The OT bar ready to plummet. All they have to do is finish off Evo. They managed to do so, and GC Busan Wave will tie up this series.
I can't remember the last time I saw hold on B on this map in Korea. It has almost never happened. You see holds on C and you see full holds on A, but to have that timing, as you said, just get shut down, it was a composition problem on the side of 7. You know, we can tease GC Busan for kind of copying the blueprints there of Surefour's Widow attack from earlier this morning in Overwatch League, but you know, they had the better defense, they had the initiation, and when the fights got bad there, the Winston and the Hanzo don't have synergy together. You can't set up anything with the Dragon Strike, you can't try to force anything with the dive Winston when you're only running a Brigida. Like, what are you diving for? Why not run the Reinhardt? That gives you at least some initiation with the Earth Shatter. The Zarya can protect, the Brigida can protect your Hanzo to get them into better position, but just running the pseudo dive with pseudo poke, like, was never going to get them anything around that corner. So compositional problems here. The Dragon Blade taken out only after Revenge had used his Transcendence. They match the Transcendence with their own. The Blade comes out. He kills Brigida with the dash, as you pointed out, in the team fight. So cannot be stunned, cannot be killed. And yeah, that was just lack of initiation there. No way to start a fight versus so many different ways on the other side. Dragon Strike works so much better on defense than it does on offense, especially on a map like King's Row. So the Hanzo made sense for GC Busan Wave. On the other side for the attack there. you know, you're Dragon Strike into an area where the enemy team just fans out and comes back in. They have the more mobile comp. They're running a Genji, for Pete's sake. So